He is Dave Pidgeon, spokesman for the state system of higher education, joining us. Conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. David, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you today?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Understanding it's a really nice day down in Harrisburg as it is here in Indiana.
I'm hard-pressed to find a better month in Pennsylvania than October.
Really?
I love October in Pennsylvania. The foliage, when you travel through the state, in the mountains, but even down in the southeast part of the state, this just might be my favorite month.
See, my listeners here know that I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Because I'm such a fatalist because I know what's coming after it, which is winter. So, but that's not why we're here today, David.
Take a road trip with me. I might be able to change your mind.
I've been living here for 60 years. I doubt it. All right, so let's talk a little bit. State system of higher education. Chancellor Dan Greenstein holding the virtual campus tour this year. And tomorrow's Indiana's, right? IUP's?
That is correct. In fact, every day this week he paid a visit, virtually, of course, to the campuses. And it culminates tomorrow with a chance to talk and hear directly from the community and the university campus there at Indiana.
All right, so some of the issues that have come up, I'm sure, have been the state system redesign, of course, and what that means. But APSCUF put out this item about retrenchment being a possibility. They named 7 universities, including IUP. I'm sure those concerns have been raised before Dr. Greenstein.
Absolutely. We certainly have heard a lot of questions, and it's really important, I think, for the listeners there in Indiana County and in the surrounding area to understand some context about what they may be hearing. It's important to know that months ago, the Office of the Chancellor presented some goals, some parameters to help move universities on a path to financial sustainability, to help try and maintain our student affordability in a hyper-competitive marketplace. Now, the universities decide how to meet those goals. And of course, we work with them and listen to them and help them find ways to reaching those goals. Ultimately, though, this is about a balance between the state system creating broad system-wide goals and the individual universities having the space that they need to make the choices they have to make to reach those goals.
Some of those goals, of course, involve specific steps being taken with the state system realignment. It was just a couple of weeks ago that this new phase of workforce alignment with regional employer assemblies, this whole issue of taking a look at what each of the schools is offering and then taking a look at what is needed in the job market across our region, Pennsylvania, that becomes a very important part of the state system mission, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it's important for us to remember that we are the public higher education system in the Commonwealth. And so it brings with it a sense of responsibility to be adaptable to what the state needs, right? That's our function is to provide an option for post-secondary students, and we're talking both traditional and non-traditional students, right? A high school graduate, but also maybe an adult who's looking to reskill or upskill. We provide those avenues to improve, their lives, to improve their resumes, let's say, so that they can be ready for the marketplace as it is or where it is beginning to develop. And I can't think, Todd, of a more critically important time right now for the state system as, again, the public higher education option to look at how can we be adaptable. There are a lot of Pennsylvanians right now. They're either out of work or they are worried about what their job status is. And if we can provide those options with a pathway to a better life, a pathway to reskilling and upskilling, that's a responsibility that we have.
Mm-hmm. Chancellor Greenstein.
And so we're working.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, Todd. I was about to say we are working and listening to some of the top, most critically important employers in every region, not just across the state, but in specific regions like Indiana, so that we understand what it is that they do need, right? So that there isn't a disconnect between what the workplace is and what we are providing from an academic programming standpoint. We want to make sure that there are connections there, and that's what that workplace alignment, that workplace academic programming effort is all about.
Chancellor Greenstein, the last time that he blogged, which was a few weeks ago, put forth some very specific steps that he would like to see as the next progression in not only sustaining the state system of higher education, but growing it and moving it forward. And some of those steps are not only very specific, but they're very concerning for some folks. And you think of issues such as consolidation of services among universities, shared governance, all of those things. What is he hearing, or what are you at the state system hearing about the things most concerning to people on the university level of what the plans are going forward from here?
It's certainly understandable that there are a lot of questions about the future. And we certainly hear a lot of questions. We hear a lot of creative ideas, and it's important for us to be open to those ideas. And I think that the campus on Friday is going to hear from Chancellor Greenstein directly about what ideas he has. What he likes to say is, here's the story in my head. But let's establish a couple of things. We are stewards of tuition and taxpayer dollars because we are the public higher ed system. And it's important for us to sustain and even regain our affordability in the marketplace and to grow. Let's touch on a couple of things here real quick, Todd. And the campus is going to hear about a lot of this on Friday, so I don't want to get too far ahead. Mm-hmm. But think about it from this standpoint. Enrollments are down 19% from our peak in 2010, 2011. But personnel costs have grown by 17% since 2011.
It's a stunning,
additionally,
that's a stunning number right there.
I'm sorry, Todd. I wanted to also touch on, if you look at what our place is in the marketplace, and again, we know that Pennsylvania is a hyper-competitive higher ed market. There's something like about 250 degree issuing institutions. In 2009, when you look at the average net price to attend a state system university and compare that to the competition, we were about $7,000 more affordable than a state-related, and it was roughly about $9,000 more affordable than a private four-year school. Mm-hmm. Now, go forward to 2017, 2018. That difference has shrunk to about $2,000 between when you compare our average net price with a state-related, and it's roughly $2,700 when you compare with a four-year private. We like to talk about ourselves as the affordable higher ed option, and in many respects we are, but we have got to be creative, nimble, and adaptable if we're going to continue to be that.
Talking with Dave Pidgeon, he is the spokesperson for the state system of higher education. One of the other real emphases for Chancellor Greenstein has been diversity, and brought on Dr. Denise Pearson as the Vice Chancellor and Chief Diversity Officer for the state system of higher education. The Chancellor seems really excited about this. So what does she bring?
Yeah, she brings a tremendous amount of expertise to the state system. And what's also pretty exciting when we talk about Dr. Pearson and her role is that it's going to be highly collaborative. She's already begun her discussions and listening and outreach to the various campuses. And it's going to be very intentional going forward on the matter of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So she listened to Dr. Pearson talk about her own personal journey, but also to interact with her and know that she is an intentional listener and that she brings so much with her expertise and as well as new opportunities to progress and move forward on that, which is something that our campuses, in many respects, especially Indiana, have been moving in very positive in the right direction. And Dr. Pearson is here to elevate those efforts on an individual campus level, but also from a system-wide standpoint.
One of the interesting things to me about the conversation is that the chancellor points out that while diversity is, it can encompass a very, very wide field, he wants to really focus on race right at the outset.
Yeah, we hear a lot about first-person experiences on our campuses. And we also find ourselves, I think, as anyone can acknowledge, in a very challenging time in the nation's history. It's a time where there is a demand for action. And, of course, with the current 2020 election and so many emotions that are supercharged right now, I think we're all observing that. Chancellor Greenstein is very intentional about this. And we are at the very beginning here, of course, of Dr. Pearson's work. And Chancellor Greenstein's efforts as well in collaboration with her. And the future presents so much great possibility with their leadership. So, stay tuned. We certainly welcome interaction and feedback. We want to hear from students and faculty, staff, administrators, everybody, even the community there in Indiana, as well as the other 13 campuses. So a lot ahead, a lot of potential ahead for Dr. Pearson.
Yeah, this is a pretty big month for the state system, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So we have a Board of Governors meeting coming up, and there's going to be a pretty full agenda.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. All right. Well, we look forward to that and listening to the conversation tomorrow as well. Dave Pidgeon, thank you so much for coming on board with us today.